Oh, aren't they pretty sheep? Hello, ladies. Hello, ladies. You gonna come and say hello? Hello and welcome back to Hitchin Farm Working Horses.
Just another farm update for you of what we've been up to. We've been out buying more animals predominantly.
Stand back, let them all come out. Aren't they beautiful?
The sheep were a little bit reluctant to come out of the trailer at first, but luckily we had just the man for the job. And they were soon able to go out and join the rest of the herd in the big fields, which means that they currently have run of the woodland, though we will be fencing them off from this soon, because sheep selectively graze young trees. So we went out, didn't we, for 4 sheep. Then it turned out they had 7 for sale, so obviously we came home with 7. And shortly after we got home, we realised it was actually our 7th wedding anniversary. And the gift for the 7th wedding anniversary is wool. So that was a bit of serendipity. Yeah, we picked the coloured Rylands because they're just really pretty, aren't they?
Yeah, they're just really nice, easygoing sheep. And
it just makes sense to us as well. If you're going to breed sheep, it's the same amount of effort to breed a lamb that's worth £200 as it is to breed a lamb that's worth 50 quid. So we thought we'd buy the most expensive sheep we could afford, which then meant we couldn't afford anything else for about a month. Even food. But yeah.
Priorities, isn't it?
And we got a lovely ram as well, didn't we?
Yeah, Gordon Ramsay.
He's great. We've actually just turned him out with the ewes and he's not interested in them at all.
Not in the slightest.
That's perfect.
So this is Radagast. He's now about a week old. So this is his mum. She's an Ardennes. She's a horse that a friend of ours has given to us. She's been a good driving horse and working horse in the time. And what we've done is we've put her to Oscar, our Percheron Cob stallion, and we've produced Radagast, who we're very pleased about. And something that we're really keen on at Hitchin Farm is that succession of good working horses, and we're hoping that they're not purebreds, so they've got Percheron, Cob and Ardennes in it, but it should be a good quality working horse in the future. So Radagast now is about 3 months old, and he's doing really well. So Radagast is son of Oscar, our dapple grey stallion, who we've approved for breeding. So by that we mean it hasn't gone to a show, it hasn't won any rosettes. He comes in, he's quiet. You've seen him doing the hay turning, and
he's healthy.
He's really healthy.
Which helps a lot, especially with heavy horses, because they have so many health issues in all the purebred ones. It's
phenomenal, really.
Kind of painful.
And he maintains weight really well, which is something that a lot of heavy horses don't seem to manage very well.
So we had to keep him in for a few weeks when he was first born, because the weather was it's been awful, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's been just dreadful all summer, apart from that week where we made hay. And then he was able to go out and join the herd with his grandma, who's Opal, and his mum, Josie. And it was really nice to see them all running around together.
Yeah. Trying to just keep the weather out of these old barns and just trying to sort of get them back together a little bit. So we're putting these doors on for now, just to keep the worst of the weather out.
So with all the new doors, we decided to paint them quite a jazzy blue. They were previously all red. I was a little bit concerned that we were breaking with the tradition. I didn't really like the red. It just didn't look quite right to me. But actually, when you sanded down the door,
it was blue underneath anyway.
It was blue underneath. So
a lot of the old steel gates, which are black, now that they've been knocked about a bit, they've all got blue paint on them as well, which is quite weird.
So yeah, not too much of a break with tradition after
No.
all. So we also picked up 4 new pigs for ourselves. They are large black pigs, which is one of the rarest breeds of pig in the country. They're going to be going out in our woodland soon, which will be really nice, and we're hoping that they will help us to regenerate our woodland a little bit. A lot of our trees are all the same age, aren't they?
Yeah, and there's absolutely no regeneration in there because the farmers before us have been grazing it with sheep, and they'll eat anything that's coming up. So basically there's a massive age gap between the youngest tree and the oldest tree.
Yeah, and also I'm vegetarian personally, but Mike eats pork, and it's nice to know that our pork is the best, highest welfare pork that we can produce, basically. Yeah. And this time we've got large black pigs, and these ones are actually pedigrees. It's the first time we've ever had pedigree pigs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because we're posh now. We've kept saddlebacks before, we've kept middle whites.
Middle whites.
Yeah, a bit of everything.
And saddleback cross Oxford Sandinian blacks, I think they were the one lot.
So it'll be interesting to see how these compare. To start with, the girls are living in the barn, and they're mostly focused on sleeping very snugly together and eating a lot of food. And they get on just like any other group of sisters would. It turns out that your sister doesn't particularly appreciate it if you try and sit on her head. So we also have gained, I say gained, because someone promised us some chickens and turkeys and then turned up with a lot of chickens and turkeys for us.
Turns out new favourite client.
Yeah. We've got Aylesbury ducks, runner ducks, some Bourbon red turkeys, which are apparently really rare breed as well.
Yeah.
A few different types of chicken, and our favourite chicken is Senior Butler's. He's a silky cross cockerel that's got no tail feathers at all and no butt. and he thinks,
and he's about the size of a pigeon.
Yeah, he thinks he's in charge of the battery hens, but they just completely and utterly ignore him, which is hilarious.
He's a very proud individual.
He is, yeah. We had to rush out and buy extra poultry housing because there were so many that arrived. Thank you to Sue for those, by the way. And so we've now got a bit of a poultry army on the go, haven't we?
Yeah.
And they're all now up in the orchard, which is great. They've got a lot more space up there. And eventually we're going to build our own horse-drawn chicken tractor, aren't we? We bought some ginormous wheels from a local antique shop. We could barely even get them in the truck.
Yeah.
And we'll be building something ridiculous, no doubt, that we'll put the chickens in.
Yeah.
And the idea of that is that we'll be moving them around, and they'll be helping to break up the worm cycles for the other livestock, and also helping to dig up the ground.
Yeah, hopefully they'll give a little bit of a scarification and then go behind the horses, and then they can eat any of the worms that is left in the horse muck and everything else. So.
Yeah, hopefully they'll be useful and obviously produce bazillions of eggs.
Yeah, and a little bit of fly control, hopefully. So.
Oh yeah. And these are our very posh gold-laced Orpingtons and Peking chickens that we treated ourselves to as well. So we've also had our first magnificent harvest. We had 2 apples off one of the apple trees that we planted in the spring. You aren't supposed to let them produce fruit, but it seemed like sacrilege not to have any apples at all. So we had 2 Bramleys, didn't we?
Yeah.
And this magnificent pumpkin which we didn't even plant, but just appeared in our rhubarb bed.
We're hoping to improve on this from next year.
So next year will be a bit more focused on fruit and veg growing.
We did do quite well out of the berries this year as well, though. To be fair, the red currants, the white currants, and the black currants were pretty good, considering it was their first year, and it's been a really odd year for
terrible
them,
weather,
so.
really bad. I ruined most of our black currants though. I picked a load of really nice black currants and made them into a fruit smoothie with oat milk. Don't do that. It's disgusting. It basically was like some kind of globby egg yolk kind of situation.
It wasn't even as good as that.
It wasn't. Yeah, don't do that. So next on the agenda is cows, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're not quite sure what breeds we want to get yet. We're thinking either Highlands or Red Devons again. We had Red Devons before.
Yeah, they were lovely, easygoing cows.
And we're looking for something multi-purpose that we can breed and that's also producing good beef. And they will be grazed with our horses as well, so they have to have a fairly reasonable temperament.
Yeah, that's why we also like the Longhorns, because they're supposed to be really quiet.
But yeah, we'll be going out soon and trying to look for some cattle as well, so that should make everything feel a little bit more farmy. I do miss our old cows though, they were really hilarious, so they were just always up to something bad.
No, I don't miss them at all actually.
No.
They just broke fencing all the time.
Oh yeah, we do need to re-fence. We need to re-fence basically the entire
Everything.
farm before we can go out and get cows. But yeah, if you keep cattle and you think you've got something nice, do let us know below what breeds we should be thinking about, and we'll do a little bit more research.
So yeah, I visited Ali in her office and she's doing her paperwork, which is really important, and I fell through that little hole there. Luckily, my groin stopped myself from going too far because of that lovely rusty nail there.
This is why my seat is on a door to try and make the pressure a bit more even. Don't just walk on the floor.
This is right here.
Don't just walk on the floor. On our next video, we'll be delving into how driving different formations can help with schooling with a team of Shetland ponies. Please do like, subscribe and comment, it really does help our channel, and we'll see you next time.